Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the BTM channel, and in today's video, we are back with another fantasy football video. In today's video, I am going to be ranking my top 10 running backs for the 2022-2023 NFL season. Not gonna waste much time. Make sure to like and subscribe for more football content, more sports content, all that good stuff. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. In my 10th slot, for fantasy running backs this year, I have DAndre Swift of the Detroit Lions, a guy that finished 15th last year in fantasy points. Overall, a great running back, very explosive. Has a decent O-line, not awful. It's pretty solid though. But just a guy that has a lot of that receiving upside. And assuming he stays healthy, you know, that's the reason he kind of finished 15th last year, was because of all the injuries he had. But I still see him, you know, if he can get through the injuries, again, this is assuming he is healthy the whole season, I'd easily see him as being a top 10 fantasy running back this season. And in my 9th slot, I have Dalvin Cook of the of the Minnesota Vikings, my bad. A guy that finished 16th last year, but obviously we've seen what Dalvin Cook has done. He could finish even higher, I think. Obviously we know how good he is. Yeah, not much to explain here. I mean, he's got a good O-line. They got a pretty good team there. Has many opportunities to get into that end zone. So again, same deal with him. As long as he stays healthy, I can easily see him as being a top 10 running back very, very easily, and possibly higher up than the 9th position. And in the 8th slot, we have Alvin Kamara, a guy that I thought was going to get suspended 6 games or get suspended at some sort of amount of games this season because of an incident back near the Pro Bowl, but I believe they did say that is not going to happen. He is going to play all the games, barring, you know, unless there's an injury, of course. But I have him as 8th, you know, a guy that is very explosive, again, has that receiving upside. Decent offense there, but I mean, you look at him, when he played, they run the offense through him. You know, the Saints are going to be a lot better this year, but that offense I still got a few questions about. But I think the red zone opportunities will be more there this year than they were last year. I mean, I think they're just going to be a better overall team. Yeah, I mean, he finished 8th last year. I see him finishing about 8th this year. In the 7th spot, we got Leonard Fournette. You already know, a guy that finally, it seems like, lived up to his fantasy potential. You know, a guy that he did do well back in Jacksonville, but it was kind of shaky. He had some injuries, and then finally ends up in Tampa Bay, and he is a fantasy superstar now. He finished 6th last year, and obviously this year I have him finishing 7th. I think he's got a little receiving upside, but overall, I mean, as we can see, you know, he's on a good team. He's with Tom Brady. You know, they're gonna have end zone, red zone opportunities for him to score touchdowns. So overall, and obviously a good O-line. So overall, I got him as the 7th ranked running back for this year. In the 6th slot, I have Joe Mixon of my Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah, a guy that he gets a lot of chances to run that ball. He gets a lot of chances. I mean, a guy that gets usually about 20 plus rushes per game. Obviously, that depends on how the game's going, but usually it'll be around that 20 mark, which is what you want to see for an elite running back. He finished 4th last year, so I have him taking a little bit of a dip. Obviously, considering, again, this is a list, you know, all on non-injured players. And yeah, I think he'll be a great, you know, starting running back. Yeah, I mean, the workload's got to be there for him. He's got a new O-line. Obviously, the Bengals beefed up that O-line this offseason. So, yeah, I see him just improving from last year. So, he is my 6th ranked running back. And my 5th ranked running back, we get to another guy who gets what seems like an almost boring, a boring amount of a workload. Najee Harris of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He finished 3rd last year. I have him moving back just slightly. But yeah, I mean, you should have no problem drafting this guy. Obviously, we've seen the talent, but the workload is ridiculous. I mean, he's part of the receiving game. He's getting 20, 25 rushes a game. I mean, it is so much rushing in that Pittsburgh offense. But yeah, and plus they got some new QBs coming in, so I see them kind of probably leaning to the run game a little bit more. So my 5th ranked running back is Najee Harris. The 4th slot, we got Austin Ekeler, a guy that I think he could be really, really nice. I think he could finish higher than 4th, but right now I got him at 4. I had to debate the top 4 here that you guys are about to hear. It's a tough race because Austin Ekeler obviously has the O-line. They got a great passing game to where he's got to get plenty of rushing, touchdown opportunities. They're got to be in that red zone. They got a good O-line, like I said. He's got that receiving upside. I mean, you got to be confident drafting Austin Ekeler for sure this year. And we are now in the top 3. In my 3rd slot, I got Derrick Henry. He finished 22nd last year, but obviously we know why, because he was injured for the majority of the year. Otherwise, though, he was running off with it. I mean, he was going crazy in the rushing game. And yeah, I got him finishing 3rd this year. We see him year in, year out. I mean, he is a beast. Yeah, I got him finishing 3rd. No doubt in my mind about that. Just a freight train of a man, that's for sure. In the 2nd slot, a guy that I think he could, I could easily see him being 1st. Him and number 1, I could see them going. I mean, they're right next to each other for me. I got Jonathan Taylor of the Indianapolis Colts. Obviously, last year he finished number 1 by a pretty decent margin for sure as well. He's in the receiving game. He's explosive. He's got a good O-line. He gets plenty of rushing touchdown opportunities, red zone opportunities. Yeah, I don't need to do much explaining for him. He showed why he's a top 10 running back last year, 2 years in a row. I mean, he is a beast. And yeah, so he is my number 2 ranked running back. In the number 1 slot, a guy that if he stays healthy, I think he will finish number 1. That is Christian McCaffrey of the Carolina Panthers. A guy with an okay offensive line, not that great, but it's all right. But the guy's explosive. He's their offense. I mean, let's just be frank here. You got a bunch of crappy QBs in Carolina. They just give him the ball and he does the whole offense thing. You know what I'm saying? They just watch. I mean, he is a fantasy record-setting guy. I mean, I don't know that he's set any records, but I believe he's been close. I mean, he is just ridiculous. If he's healthy, he is number 1. Obviously, the injury concern is a concern for me. Me personally, I won't be drafting him. But what I will say for you guys, if you're playing for any money, anything like that, I did watch a video today that he was like, so if you're the 4th pick and Derrick Henry, Cooper Kupp, and Jonathan Taylor and Austin, like let's just say all those guys are gone, all reliable, and Christian McCaffrey's sitting there, you would probably take Christian McCaffrey. If you're in that first position, if Christian McCaffrey is still sitting there after a couple picks and you're competing for money, I would definitely snag Christian McCaffrey, considering the amount of upside he has. I mean, but you're taking a risk. But he also did say, I'm either playing for first or I'm playing for last. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. If you're not playing for first, you might as well just take last. So that is my top 10 fantasy running backs for this season. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know any changes you would make. And without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.